be here. Thank you for having me today. And I hope that what I say is not just something you have to sit through. I hope this is something that you can take to heart and that's going to help you in your college experience. We've had a couple of, has anybody seen the other ones that we've done? Anybody watched them online or anything like that? No? Okay, so some of this will be, or a lot of, all this will
So
be.
next time when he asks that question, we need to see a lot more hands raised. Sorry, Kurt.
No, that's okay. No, that's good. So today, we've talked about several other things, and I'll mention some of them again today, but today we're really focusing on life management. That was the topic that was given. But specifically, we're going to talk about one area of life management that is truly beneficial. It's something that I wish that I had done more of when I was in school, and I hope you will take this to heart. So, in our last session, we talked about different quadrants that some of them we want to stay in, other ones we want to get away from as fast as we can. The optimum quadrant we want to be in, I don't think that doesn't work, okay, is quadrant 2 up here. We're going to look at another chart in just a minute, and it's going to make a lot more sense. I know this is kind of like, you know, what is all this stuff? But quadrant 1 basically is the bad one. This is where, let me just go to the next thing here. This is where things are important and urgent, like staying up all night to cram for an exam. That happens. We've got to do that from time to time. I know you've all done it. And so we don't want to do that every time, but sometimes that just has to happen. We'll come back to quadrant 2 because that's the good one. That's where we want to be. What about not important but urgent? Like attending a hastily called meeting just because you can't say no. All right? Does anybody have that trouble? If I can't say no? Yeah. Anytime anybody asks you to do something, you'll do it no matter what, even if you're going to fail the test that you should be studying for. We want to stay out of that quadrant. Quadrant 4 down here at the bottom is things that are not important and not urgent. Now the problem with quadrant 4 is that too many of us spend way too much time in that one. It's okay to spend a little bit of time in it. Sometimes you got to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning finishing that Netflix series, you know, binge watching. It's just got to happen, right? Just for mental health, okay. But we don't want to stay there. That can be really detrimental to your health and to your school as well. Where we kind of want to hang out most of the time is in the important but not urgent category. And that's quadrant 2. An example of that might be creating a study group the first week of the semester. It's those things that we do to help ourselves in the future. You do them now, and in days to come, they're going to pay off. It's kind of like maintaining your car. I know that's one that I hate doing. It's hard to see the good in it, but if you don't do it, you're going to pay for it down the road. So one of the quadrant 2 categories that we want to stay in are, first let's look at this, all right. Traits of quadrant 2 people. Now this is what a good student does. You attend class regularly, do all your assignments to the best of your ability, schedule conferences with instructors, organize study groups, rewrite notes on graphic organizers. Does anybody do that? You don't rewrite your notes? Very good. You are going to be at the top of your class. I promise you. Nobody does that. But if you do it, you will rise above. All right. Study briefly every day. Anybody study every day for your college courses? Nobody? If you do that, I promise you, you will rise up. You will be the cream of the crop. Nobody does that. Predict upcoming test questions and carry around answers on index cards. Anybody a flashcard carrier? You got to do it. You got to do it. And then the last one, in a different color down here, is that something they don't do, and that's they don't complain, excuse, blame, or waste time. And the other couple of ones of these that we've done, we've talked a lot about being a creator and not a victim. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. So all of this is coming out of this book, On Course. It's a wonderful book. If you want one, I have some. I can give you one. You can go through the whole thing by yourself. And it really will help you in your college pursuits. But the task that we're looking at today is called Employing Interdependence. And this is all from this book. So I don't take credit for any of this. All right, so let me tell you, I need to get my book over here. I want to tell you Martha's story. I should have been in quadrant 2 preparing to have my book ready over there, but I wasn't. All right. One semester, in the 11th week, Martha made an announcement. This is the last time I'll be in class. I'm withdrawing from college. I just want to say how much I'll miss you all. A concerned silence followed Martha's announcement. Her quiet, solid presence had made her a favorite with classmates. My babysitter just moved, Martha explained, and I've been trying to find someone I trust to look after my 1-year-old with no luck. My husband took his vacation this week to care for her, but he has to go back to work. I have to drop out of school to be with my baby. Don't worry, she added weakly. I'll be back next semester. Really, I will. Right. But there are only a few more weeks in the semester. You can't drop out now, someone said. Martha merely shrugged her shoulders, clearly defeated. Then one of the other women in the class said, my kids are grown and out of the house, and this is the only class I'm taking this semester. I'll be willing to watch your child for the next few weeks, if that would help you get through the semester. The only thing is, you'll need to bring your baby to my house because I don't have a car. I don't have a car either, Martha said. Thanks anyway. Wait a minute, the young man in the class said. Not so fast. Aren't we learning that we're all in this together? I have a car. I'll drive you and your child back and forth till the semester's over. Martha sat for a moment, stunned. Really? You'd do that for me? In 3 minutes, Martha's fate had changed from dropping out of school to finishing her courses with the help of 2 classmates. And it's all because of this trait that we're talking about of interdependence. We'll talk about what that means in a second. Here's a great quote. You've probably heard it before. John Donne, a great English poet, wrote that no man is an island entire of itself. Everyone is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. So we're all in this together. We are all part of the same, we're all part of humanity. And so we need to learn to be interdependent with each other. In Western culture, we tend to idolize that guy, right? The cowboy riding off into the sunset alone. The Marlboro man, you know, that tough guy that can do everything on his own, a rugged individualist. He doesn't need anybody. That's what we like to think in America, don't we? Because we're a country that's kind of how we came about. But there is a much better way, and it is called interdependence. We're going to look at 4 different ways to relate to people, and they're not all bad. Some of them are, but there's one that rises to the top. It's the last one, interdependence. So let's talk about those different ways to relate to people. The first one is dependence. I can't achieve my goals by myself, so you're dependent upon somebody else to make things happen in your life. You can't do it. You don't have any part of it. It's all on somebody else. So I hope you don't think that way. That's a bad one. Here's another bad one, codependence. You may be familiar with this terminology. What it says is that I have to help other people get to their goals before I can pursue my own. Other people coming before you. Well, what happens when that's the case? You never get to your own goals at all because there's always going to be somebody else that you're having to fix for and do for. Independence. Now, we don't think of this normally as a bad thing. We like to think of ourselves as pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of people, right? Get out there and do it. And there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself always. But it says that I can get some of what, I left some words out there. I can get some of what I want all by myself if I work hard. But the problem with that one is you're limited to what you can do. The better one, the best one is interdependence. And here's what it says. I know I can get some of what I want by working alone, but I'll accomplish more and have more fun if I give and receive help. That's the one. That's where we're headed toward. It's helping other people as you accept help from them for yourself. Creating a support network is something that we all need to do. Does anybody have a good support network, would you say? This right here is one. You are so fortunate to be in a group like this. This is so helpful because these people back here are looking out for you, and they are all this stuff they're doing is support network kind of stuff, right? So good for them, and you are lucky to be in such a place as that. But sometimes you got to create it. Sometimes you got to add to it. They can't do everything for you. You got to go around and look for other ways to have support. Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. And that's true. You've probably seen that in your life when you've had to do something on your own and you finally got to the end of your rope and you just had to ask for help. And you got it. And things worked out. And maybe you even gave help while you were asking for help. So, what kind of help do you need? I don't know. I'll ask you, what kind of help do you need in your life? A lot? Me too. Absolutely. What are some things? What are some areas of help that we all need?
Time management.
Time management. That's a good one. What else? You know there are people out there who are really good time managers
I'm not.
who can give you advice on how to do that better. Jock Calloway's one of them, I bet you, because he's got, and all these wonderful people too. So lots of areas. Do you need help understanding your course? We'll talk about that. Do you need help knowing what courses to take? There's help for that. Do you need help with an academic problem? You got a question you can't figure out? Spanish. Somebody said Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah. That's because it's a different language.
Yes.
You need help financially. Financial aid. Okay, we're talking about that too. You need help with a personal problem. Go see Christy Mosley.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. She doesn't.
They do.
They do. All right. Do you need help figuring out your career path? You're in college, but you really don't know exactly what you need to do. There's help for that. Making new friends. Anybody kind of find it hard to be social? I do sometimes. I can stand up here and talk to all of you people like this, but when it comes to like walking into a room and having to mingle, I hate it. I can't do it. This is nothing right here. But that's the same. Y'all like that? Yeah. Yeah. Or do you need help with a project of some kind? And let me tell you this: by project, that doesn't always mean a Spanish project or some other kind of subject matter. It can be like Martha. She had a project, and she got help with it. So we've got some solutions we're going to look at. The first one is seeking help from your instructors. Hey, you've already paid for it. You can expect help from your instructors. I'm an instructor. I think about that all the time. These students have paid, or somebody has paid. Their tuition has been paid, and so it's expected. I need to do this. This is part of my job. They know. We know that. So take advantage of that. By first day introduction, I don't mean some kind of introduction that the teacher gives. I mean on the first day of class, when it's over, when the bell rings. There's no bell here, but. I think there used to be. But when it's over, you need to beeline it to that teacher on the first day and say, hello, look him in the eye, stick out your hand. I'm Kurt McInnes. It's nice to meet you. Meet that teacher because they have a ton of students. And if they can put a face to a name immediately, then that's going to benefit you. Just no doubt it's going to. So you need to do that. And get over shyness and go up there and do it. Find office hours. Find out what they are. They're posted outside every instructor's door, so it's easy to find out when your instructor will be in that office. And make an appointment when you find out what the office are. Don't just show up. Try to make an appointment. That's going to go far with you too in creating a rapport with that teacher because they know that you care about their time, and so they're going to be ready for you when you come. When you get there to the appointment, arrive prepared. Know what you're going to talk about. Even if it's just to say, hey, I've struggled with this subject with algebra in the past, and I just want you to know that. I'm going to try my hardest, but I'm going to be making lots of appointments, and they're going to be ready for you then. Ask lots of questions. It's okay. I know y'all get annoyed with that person that's always raising their hand or his hand in class, but so what? It's more about your education than it is about how people feel about you. And here's the great thing. Have you ever had a situation where a teacher turned into a friend after that class? Where that teacher turned into a mentor where you knew you could go to that teacher at any time and they would help you out? That happens all the time. But it doesn't happen if you're just sitting like a fly on the wall in the room or a wallflower. Another solution is getting help from college resources. So what are some of those? Well, academic advisors. We've got some of those folks here today. They can help you if you don't know what to do with your life. That's what they're there for. They're trained in it. They love helping people figure out what to do. They're not bossy. I don't mean that. I just mean that they're, and they're not pushy. We have free tutoring here. Who goes to the ACE Lab? Be honest. Who goes every day? One. Now what do you do when you're in there? Sing? You sing? Who goes every week to the ACE Lab? Okay. That ought to be every hand in here, honestly. There's no excuse. I've been to a bunch of institutions of higher learning in my life, and none of them have had anything like the ACE. Not a single one of them. But you have it here, and it's free for you. So you need to be there. The financial aid office. I remember growing up, I was a first generation college student myself. My parents didn't go to college, and so I didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. And we didn't know all the different scholarships that were available. And I ended up not getting stuff that I could have gotten easily, probably, if I had just applied for it. So go. Be proactive. Be a creator, not a victim. Counseling services. If you've got a problem, you can talk to people, or we can refer you to another counselor. Every teacher here has cards that we can hand out and say, if you need to speak to somebody about a personal problem, here you go. We have a career center. Has anybody who has taken the, what's it called, the Career Scope test? Have you all taken that? That needs to be everybody here. You don't really know, without a shadow of a doubt, what you need to do in life unless you do some kind of aptitude test. What might be good for you to do? It may be something different than what you first thought. And our student activities office. Nancy Johnson can help you out by telling you about clubs. Did you know that there are night socials here how often are they? Once a month? Okay. A way to get involved. All right. Another one here is creating an ad hoc project team. Now this is not a study group. What does this mean? Ad hoc just means for the moment. Right now we're going to do this and then it's going to be gone once the project is done. Well, it's good for tackling a big project of any kind. It could be a class project, but it could be other things too, like Martha figured out. But it's created to solve one problem. So, do you need to move? Are you moving to a different house? You got a big order that needs to go out at your business? Do you work at a caterer or something like that? You got to get a big order out but you don't have enough people? Create a project team and ask for volunteers and see what happens. And I bet you somebody will help you out. Just like you would help them out, right? So sometimes that can be a way to be interdependent with people. A fourth one is start a study group. Has anybody ever started a study group? Okay, what was the subject matter?
Chemistry.
Right. When you take tough subjects, you can't just sit around. You got to start those study groups early, and don't wait around for somebody else to do it. Be the leader of the group. Even if the only thing you're doing and leading is getting it started. It's going to be good for you. It's going to be good for other people. A study group is created to help every member. It's not a project where one person is getting help. It's really for the benefit of all people. It meets all the time. And those study groups can last throughout college. Changing the subject as you go. And it adds a layer of accountability and discipline in your life. Anytime that you have to be prepared for somebody else, that is a good, right now, me having to do this today, added a layer of accountability and discipline in my life. That's good for me. Anytime we add those things, you become a stronger, sharper person. So be that person for yourself and for other people. You know what that means. Birds of a feather flock together. But think about this. What kind of people do you need to associate with? Answer. What kind of people? In college, what kind of people do you need to associate with?
People who don't procrastinate like I do.
People who don't procrastinate? Responsible people? What? People who have the same high goals as you? All right? So if you're flocking with those kinds of people, what's going to happen to you? It's going to rub off. You're going to rise to the occasion. What's going to happen to those other people? You're going to have a challenging little bird group. And you're all going to rise and fly. Wow, I'm just going to keep on going this metaphor. All right, so, and also, it introduces diversity and expands horizons. If the only kind of people that you hang around with are people that are just like you, then what's that going to do in your life? It's going to create this bubble. You know, how many people do you know that live in the bubble of Marianna, Florida, and they've never gotten out of it, and they're 45 years old? Like me? Okay. It makes you, it exposes you to other kinds of people, which is always a good thing. It broadens your horizons. All right. Other ways to connect, I just threw some together here. Use social media to build community. I know you're all using all kinds of social media anyway, but do it for good. Don't do it for just some goofy nothing purpose like most people use it for. Join a club, organization that interests you. Who all is in a club besides this one? Besides this one. Okay. Join clubs. It's good. What club are you in?
PBL.
PBL.
BCM.
DCM. Was there somebody over here? Okay. Join a club. All right, this is something I say in my class all the time. Use the Canvas people feature. Now, did you know that Canvas has its own little social media? I mean, it's nothing. It's just basically how to contact other people. But if you need help for a class, you may not want to Facebook stalk them, right? You may just want to go to Canvas and find them on there. And that way it's not creepy.
You can start typing in their names and it'll pop it all up if they're in your same class.
Exactly, right. So it's a good idea. All right. Attend sporting events, plays, and special lectures. It's going to help you connect with other people that may not be just like you are, and and make you learn at the same time and have fun too. And then just go to lunch with somebody or with a group of people. Have a cup of coffee. Go to Milk and Honey and have some ice cream. You know, whatever it is, get together with people, and that's going to help you be interdependent just naturally. All right. This has a translation into the workplace too. It's not just for now. This has a broader spectrum than just today. Many jobs today require potential employees possess different skills in this area. You know, interdependence we talked about, team orientation. If you go try to get a job, they're going to want to know if you're a team player. They don't want some rugged individualist out there, usually, who's just kind of doing his own thing. They want to know if you can work with the people that are already there. So a strong ability to work cooperatively with others. Enhancing these personal abilities should begin as early as possible, so why not now? Don't wait till you get in the workplace to start cultivating those things. Do it now when you have more free time to do it, and the stakes aren't so high. I took this from, this is a proverb from the Bible, and you don't have to be religious to get some meaning from this. This is so true right here. Being around other people is going to sharpen you. It's going to make you into a more disciplined, smarter, more goal-oriented person if you're hanging around the right kinds of people. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. It is just the truth. If I'm hanging around with Alexis and she annoys me, which could never happen, then that's going to sand some of my rough edges off. I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with her. So right there, I'm getting sharper. I'm not the old person that got annoyed. What's that?
I do this every day with my brother.
Y'all sand each other down?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good. All right, so it really comes down to asking for the help that we need. You know you need help. I do too. Are you going to ask for it? Zig Ziglar, a famous motivational speaker, said, when things get difficult, all I can say is ask for help. It's just simple. That's all you got to do. But it's hard too. So why don't we take these steps? Why don't we do this thing? And there are some reasons why I think we don't. One is pride. We think we don't need the help, even when we really do. We all get caught up in this. We all think, I got it, I got this, I can handle it. I don't need anybody. Another one is embarrassment. We don't want other people to think we're stupid or that we can't handle it, that we're weak or whatever. Even when we can't, it goes to the heart. Ignorance. One thing is we simply don't know how to get the help that we need or where to go get it. But you don't have that excuse anymore. You are not ignorant anymore. You have been enlightened by this PowerPoint, right? You can watch it a second time if you were so. Or fear. We really don't want to entrust ourselves and be vulnerable with other people. That's a big one, you know, and all these are overlapping. That goes with pride too. You know, you just don't want people to see how weak you are. But I know you're weak, and you know it, and you know I'm weak too. And then lastly, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that some people need to fight against. I am this way. I'm an introvert. People make me tired. You know, y'all pointed at each other a while. Y'all must be like that too. I do not gain, you know, energy from being around a bunch of other people all the time. And so, you know, I struggle with that, and maybe you do too, but if we're going to be interdependent, we've got to get past that. All right, you haven't seen any of these before, so you can't remember this, but ideas have consequences. The way that you think about things affects how you do things. Ideas affect or influence behavior. If you think a certain way, you're going to act that way. What you believe affects what you do. So, we got to realize something. We got to realize that we're all in this together. And when we do, the better off we're going to be. You helping me helping you, you not being afraid to ask for help, and you know, me not being afraid to give it, or being unwilling to give it. It's a working together, pulling each other up the hill toward the goal. So, I found this. I didn't make this up. We need to, now this is a little cheesy, but we need to make this. We need to make a declaration of interdependence. We need to say from here on out, I'm not going to be the way I was. I'm not going to, you know, just be a person that is solitary and doesn't want to bother other people and doesn't really want people to know how weak I am. So are you ready for a change? If you need one. Maybe you're already doing this, and that's great if you are. But if not, are you ready to start doing things differently and go out and ask for that help? So thank you. Appreciate it.